Hello and welcome to your little mini baby yoga session today. My name is Grace Romano. I'm located in Austin, Texas. I am initially creating this just for feedback for fellow yoga students, but also if this feels good and if this feels right and resonates with me by the time I'm done, then I may share it with somebody else. So if I'm sharing it with you, thank you. And I probably am sharing it to have some feedback. So any feedback would be appreciated, would be loved, would be useful. A couple things to mention. Let's just have our yoga mat today. I'm using an Oko Living yoga rug. No plastic, all hand dyed. This is a sandstone color. This is a new mat. It's got tree rubber on the bottom to hold it in place. This is a new mat, and for me, it's a very, very, very like sacred, beautiful thing. I'm so very excited about it, and I rarely treat myself to new yoga mats. I've had the same one for like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. Before that, I had this just kind of cruddy little black one that I wound up throwing out. But this is so important to me, and I waited and saved for this and kind of, I shouldn't say saved, but saved my purchasing of any because I just wasn't finding the right mat, and I couldn't ever like decide. Like all of them were still made from plastic, so no matter how great they were, and oh, Manduka's made from this or that or whatever, I still just was like, I'm not satisfied. I'm just gonna hold out. And sure enough, they made a yoga rug, and it's all hand-dyed cloth. You can toss it in the washing machine. It gets grippier as time goes by, so they say to spray it with water to grip, but I'm learning how to just have it be very like slidey right now, and it's forcing me to learn how to trust myself because it is very slick feeling at first. I have a wooden yoga block off to the side here. I'm going to have a yoga block nearby, so if you'd like to have a yoga block as well, it will help you get sort of deeper into a posture, or maybe help open up for a different asana that we're doing. So I'm seated in just like a very comfortable sort of fire log or easy pose type position. I think fire log would be more stacked and flexed and more like this. So I'm just saying that I'm seated in easy pose, move the flesh away from each of my glutes, so that I can come more deeper in contact with my sacrum into my pelvis. And I always try to put my less common leg on top. And I say that to people, less common, and I'm just meaning that in a sense of like the leg you always put on top, flip it. Now you're doing the other one, and it's going to feel a little bit different and fun for you. I was painting, so I have red paint all over the tips of my fingers. I don't know if my camera is capturing that closely, but I think that's what I want to mention. So we've been learning a lot about Ayurveda in this recent yoga course I'm in with Mindfulness School. I did a 200-hour with them, and now I'm redoing some more really beautiful, like deep dive Tantra stuff, some Ayurveda stuff, storytelling, book writing, meditation, all this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful additions to my practice. So that is kind of a big piece of the share today. We're learning about Bhakti yoga and Bhakti additions to your practice. It's all about your relationship with the divine. Who is the divine for you? Who do you believe, and who do you pray daily to, with, about, surrounding? Who do you look up to as a wisdom, as a higher power, that sort of thing? What is your relationship to the divine? And as I'm saying this, I'm sure you're starting to process in your brain and think like, wow, what is my relationship? You know, all these thoughts are coming in. One of my absolute favorite songs is called Gobinde Mukande, and it is just tons of mantras quoted over and over and over again, and it is a bunch of words in Sanskrit that are, or I should say a Sanskrit dialect, right? Because there's like 150 different dialects in India, so I don't know which one. I can't be quoted on that. But, you know, it is basically a set of phrases that like God, the Lord of this world, God the Most High, God is nameless, God is without form, God is inside every single one of us, God destroys, God creates. So it's like this just really, really beautiful piece. Got some paint on one of my rings. I'll be picking paint off of myself for ages. So it's just this really beautiful song. It is so emotional for me. I will try to like include that song or add that in there because I would like that song to be kind of a big piece of the practice today. For all of the different copyright reasons, I can't really post a song out loud with this because it's not really going to work. So I'll try to put a couple songs that I think you should or would encourage that you maybe add on to this. That song is super powerful. It's maybe 8 to 10 minutes long, so it's quite a chunk of your practice would be that song. So thinking in a headset of like, if we were doing this as if it was a divine practice, a divine tap in, for me, I believe that would be dedication is the word that comes to mind. And I also think like simplicity and being very humble and sort of like coming to the divine, let's say to God, source, whatever you believe in, whatever your deities are. So I'm going to say God just for the sake of this conversation, or the Most High is what I usually use. So, replace it with whatever is needed for you there. But when I come to God, I feel that it is like in my sort of naked, simple human form of like, show me. I'm humbly bowing and kind of receiving, right? Receiving also, really big piece there. It's like receiving a blessing, seeing kind of like, seeing ourselves as we believe God would see us. How does God see us? And I've heard in a lot of teachings over the years, I've heard that God is love. I don't believe there's anything that God does that's to point us down, and there's people that sort of believe that like, he punishes us and things like that. I believe that the Most High God is like, well done, good and faithful. I'm proud of you. Like, you're so beautiful. It's so much love. To me, God is so much love, so much love, so much love. Like, just like the most full feeling after you ate like a nice big comforting bowl of like soup, or if you love ice cream or something, like something really good, and just like comfort and just like like that full feeling. I believe, and it's like a satisfaction and it's a fullness, but I believe it's like, you are enough, well done, you can be happy, like allowing and receiving. And so a lot of times it's like, when you come to some people, when they come to God, they're very much like, oh, I'm just this wicked, evil sinner, and oh, poor me, and God, please forgive me, that sort of headspace. Like, it's not how I view bhakti, and how for me, and again, different for everybody, how it would feel for me. I feel that God is like loving and so much, so beautiful, and like so proud of us. How would you talk to like a little tiny baby that learned to put the blocks inside of this big block the proper way, and they actually learn to fit the triangle inside of the triangle shape, and you're like, oh my gosh, good job. It's something so simple and you're just so proud. And I feel that God is like that with us. Like, it's, in God's eyes, it's such a simple thing, and it's such an honoring thing to like be kind to our neighbor, or not spaz out about crazy stressors in our lives. And when we do, it's like we're so like little, like we're just these little small, I don't know anything, I'm at infancy. Like Ram Dass always says, when you know that you know nothing, you are then back to like infancy and like a little baby. So it's like this, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm humble. I'm in my equanimity. I'm in that space where I'm like proud of myself and sure of myself, but I'm also in the knowledge of and being humble and sort of sit down. I envision it like sit down and learn. And I also sort of believe the posturing of sitting down on our mat when we first get started is like an honor and a knowledge that like, we're going to learn something today. We're going to all sort of sit down together. We're all learning from each other. We don't know yet what this is going to hold for us today. And so I like to go into like a bhakti practice as like, well done. You're doing so good. Receiving a compliment. So each posture that you're doing sort of being filled with like gratitude for yourself and just like such a simple, divine, like we are all God. God is inside of every one of us. So God is nameless. So God is within us, right? So then being like even this simple posture of cat-cow is like, oh, good job, you know, you've done so well, like really like great, nice. And even thinking of this in a sense of like, ooh, like folks that like can't use their limbs and they're unable to be in these most simple postures. So then be grateful and be filled with like an overcoming feeling of like, wow, look at this body. Thank you, body. You're so good. Well done. Well done. Good job. And so if we approach this practice, this brief little practice together today of like, and this Dharma talk, obviously, because I'm going into a whole Dharma talk. If we approach this in like, well done. Good. I'm so beautiful. This is so good. We all have God within us. So I'm, as an act of serving God, I'm utilizing this beautiful body and this beautiful posturing. So take a big breath and let's swap our legs. If we've had our less common leg on top, let's trade that leg out and give it a little breather. I'm discovering paint on my toes as well. So it's almost like I am very childlike in the practice today. I've got paint all over my hands. I'm sitting down on the floor. I'm in the headspace of like the Ram Dass thing of, you know, we don't know and we're little and we're learning, but we're so proud of ourselves and so proud of each other, the most simple things we do. So let's approach this Bhakti Inspired class as like just simple movement, but so grateful for these movements we are doing. This beautiful, what a beautiful, beautiful positioning. Fantastic. What a glorious, tall, beautiful spine I have that's seated up. Your spine. So much gratitude for your spine, right? So we're dive right in, and I'm not going to show a breathing exercise today because I think if anything, the breathing exercise or the breathing that we would or should or could embody today would just be box breath. Simplistic, a simple square, right? Think of just inhale one side, exhale the other side, inhale, exhale. Whoops, I already lost it. Okay. See, it's not even that simple, actually. I'm just kidding. It's probably going to take a little bit of some brain space. Box breath. Thinking in that, like each breath filling a side. And you can have longer breaths per side. Mine were a little faster. So that's the most simplistic breath I can think of for this Bhakti inspiration and for this divine drop-in, because I want it to be simple, pure, little. And again, it kind of follows in with what I was saying earlier of like the little pieces of triangle being dropped into those little toy things that kids have that they learn the shapes with. So even thinking of your box breath, like being the shape of one of those little things, simplistic, and that'll let you, that vision for that will sort of let you be in your like childlike, just gratitude for yourself. Good job. You put the square in there. You did your square box breath. Amazing. Look at that. And it's not like to patronize ourselves. It's to just be like, wow, amazing. Like, thank you to the Most High God. Thank you. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Like, we're so grateful that we can do the box breath, that we can take our box or square shape and put it into that little mold, and we can look up and say, like, what do you think? And we can be met with like, wow, well done. Well done. It's so beautiful. It's like just, ooh, it's so emotional for me too. It's so simple and so beautiful. And it's like, we just don't give ourselves enough grace. Look at that, grace. We don't give ourselves enough grace to be like, You are doing so well though, dude. Like, you're so great. You're so cool. Good job. And God is within you. So good job to the little baby God inside of you. So I think just a simple twisting right off the bat. So bring your hands to your knees and let's just do some Sufi rolls to sort of pull into our back. Plus we've been seated like for almost 15 minutes now talking, so, or listening as you've been listening. Thank you so much. Do some Sufi rolls to each side. Breathing and circle back the other way. And try to go just to that spot where you feel almost like your spine is a little shaky. And you're really activating your core and you're really going very big with this. Come back to center. Take your left hand over to your right knee. Tent your fingers in back behind you directly in the middle of your back and acting as if your hand that's kickstanded behind you is an extended spine. So press into that hand to where it allows you to come up taller into your spine. And with each breath, twist, turn, look over the right shoulder, breathe. Drop your left leg down to the mat though, keeping in contact with the mat. Pulling on the front of your right knee with your hand, but just enough to get a twist going with each breath. Inhale and exhale, you go a little further. So as you turn a little further, you have to drop the right kickstanded arm into the elbow a bit. So bend the elbow. As you come out of this, really round the back so much that you're bending your head forward. Reach your right hand over to your left knee. You're now in crisscross arms here and do a nice stretch. Let the head bow. Take a breath. As you exhale, twist over to your left side, kickstanding, and you're tenting the fingers on the left hand, placing it behind you as an extra extended spine, extra stable spine. And you're now taking a grip in with this right hand onto the left knee. Start to look over back behind you, over the left shoulder, breathing. Remember, keep the right leg down and pressed into the mat. A spinal twist is a really big pose, so do not underestimate. Breathe. And with each breath, you go a little bit further back, bending the left elbow now. Maybe you drop into a flat hand instead of tented fingers to get a little deeper. Really big rounding of the back as the left arm comes back around. One more on the crisscross. And then go ahead and raise your arms up overhead. Go into prayer mudra. Look up, then pop your head through. Look down about 3 feet ahead of you. Big breath. Good. And shake out your arms. Let's go into tabletop position. So knees will be just below the hips, and hands are below the shoulders. Fingers are spread really wide. And from here, just on your own breath, start to move through some cat-cow. So remember inhaling and exhale on the head being up to the sky. Tuck the toes under to protect the knee. If you do have any knee pain, just get a towel or something for underneath the knee. Inhale and exhale. Move on your own breath, maybe another 5 of these. Try to pull just from the sacrum. So I want to show the difference here. If I just go from right here in the mid-back, not super great. Try to pull from the booty, from the sacrum, and then the back follows. Do you see that difference? So with each one of your cat-cows, try to make them start from here. See that? Go ahead and push up into your first downward facing dog for this little practice. Walk out the legs. I'm going to go forward a little, like you can't see me. Walk the legs like walk the dog. So bending deeply each of the knees and flatten your feet completely. Come to stillness. Come to a flat downward facing dog. Breathe. Do some box breath here. So breathe in for each side of the box. Make the box however big or small you would like. Generously bend the knees, and let's walk ourselves up to meet the hands. You're in a forward fold. Cross the arms and hang forward. Hands come to shins, back is flat. And from here, we'll immediately turn our legs out to each side and act as if you have just a big handful of flowers, bread, an offering of some kind. Maybe it's frankincense, myrrh, some really beautiful, like high energy, high empowered, divine fragrances you'd bring to the Most High. In Christian beliefs, they did bring frankincense and myrrh, and there's always an offering, like in any other sorts of religion, there's an offering. So we'll act as if we're picking up this beautiful offering and we're dropping into a squat with hands reaching up overhead. You can look up at the hands, press your knees out to the little toes so that you're not humped and hunched forward like this. So activating there, but still keeping the pelvis tucked in. Reach, your arms are up. You have your offering and you're giving, but you're also receiving. Well done, good job. Breathe here. Plant your left hand either in the middle or just off to the side by your left leg and reach your right arm up overhead. On your next inhale, drop that hand by the right leg. Left arm is reaching up. And breathing here. Let the hand fall back down. And as we turn in our heels, our butt comes up. We're in a forward fold here. We're going to step our left leg back, but immediately drop the knee. Anjaneyasana, low lunge here with arms lifted, but revolve your lunge. So take your your right elbow over to your left knee. Find the small back and press your hand into that. So you can begin to feel that twisting again. Hands come together in a prayer mudra here. And then let your head come neutral. So see how up like this, a little bit of strain on the neck. So keep the head this way. Breathe. Press press the knees up to the little toe on the left leg. That will cause activation through everything. Tuck the back toes under. On your next inhale, come out of that by placing both hands down. Sit yourself back into half split. Hanumanasana, half split here. So straighten the left leg, you're seated back. You can be a little bit more forward in that, if that feels better for you. You could also have a block nearby. And from here, you can just sit back enough, maybe your block is up higher, to get a nice stretch in the hamstring. Allow yourself to move forward. Step the left leg back. Downward facing dog briefly. Walk yourself up to meet the hands. Forward fold. Hands comes to shins, halfway lift. We're going to plant our hands. Step our left leg back, but immediately let it come down. We're in a half lunge, Anjaneyasana here. Tip forward, reach, pressing into that right leg. Hands come up and overhead, but we'll go into our revolved low lunge. So your left elbow will plant on the outer side of your right leg. Press the hands into prayer mudra. Instead of looking up at the head, let your head come neutral, almost like it's laying sideways. Tuck the back toes under of your left foot so that you can protect your knee. Press the right knee out to the little toe. Take a breath. On your exhale, let the hands come down. Again, you'll have either your block here if you'd like, or just seating back enough. Right foot comes up, so there's a flex in the foot. Half split here. Chest comes up, look up. Breathe. Move forward through that. Let's move the block out of the way. Kick yourself back. Downward facing dog. Look up at your hands. And at this point, really rise up tall on your tiptoes. And what we'll do then is we'll wave ourselves forward, lowering knees, chest, and chin. Come down to meet the mat. Lower the legs and kick out each leg behind you. Get set up for cobra. So you'll bring your hands close to each side. Hands are by the chest and your elbows draw in. From here, take a big breath. Push yourself up. Let go of the bum. One more of those. Push yourself back to downward facing dog. This time we'll walk, jump, step, meet the hands. We'll immediately grab our block and let's hold that in between our legs. Drop down into chair pose. So you see we're just building on that. Earlier we were in our squat. Now we're in chair pose. Same offering that we had before. We're now gifting that up and above. Squeeze the block. Feet, toes can turn in just a bit to get a little more. Lower yourself down, but keep the block there. Big inhale. As you exhale, you're going to try to walk the feet a little closer together. And this time, we'll pick up our offering, sit back again into chair pose, squeezing the block. Arms are reaching up overhead. Let the arms down, let the block out. And we'll turn sideways on our mat. Wide-legged forward fold. So grab a block for this as well. Stand it on its side. Hands come to either side of it. Not facing forward. Let's do hands where thumbs are forward, okay? Let your back come to a flat space. And breathe here, but let's hang the head down some. Legs are straight, toes are slightly in on an angle just so you can get more into the back side of your wide-legged forward fold. Now, from here, we'll take our block with us and we'll reach it all the way back behind us. Now our hands are holding the block like so, but the hands are kind of upside down now. We're holding the block. Let the head come forward as if to search for the top side of your mat. Breathe here. Let yourself reach that block a little further back each breath. But grab the block nice and sturdy on each side. But hands are actually really, really, really straight. So you're not gripping the block or anything like that. They're very straight hands. Lift the block. Lift it towards the back side of your body. Head comes a little further down. Blocks all the way up. And then lower the block back down. You can plant your hands. Knees come in or heels come in. Butt comes down. Sit on your block. You're in a more relaxed version of your low lunge. I'm sorry, my God, not a low lunge. This is a squat, yogi squat. I was thinking of the name of it, Malasana. And it came out as lunge. How fun. So from here, just bend your hands forward and out to each side. And as you lean forward, allow the inner thighs to rest on the back side of your elbows to really open up the hips. So move between seated, with the bum seated on the block, and hands forward like so. Acting as if, and only if you'd like to, kind of like you're kissing the ground, like just so much gratitude for the ground. Let's try to do 5 of those, and each time you come to the ground, just be like, thank you, ground. Act like you just got off of a plane and you're just like, oh, we're so grateful. Thank you. And each time you come up, hands come together in prayer mudra, gratitude. Let's bring our legs together. We are simply seated on our block. And let's hug our knees. Head goes down. Let's hug our knees with the other hand on top. And that is all for now. I'm supposed to do 30-minute, just brief little pop-in. So if you'd like to, at this point, just to cool down from this, if you've just dropped in to do this briefly, that was a lot of quick hip openers and twisting. So if you feel like you want to, feel free to stop this video and just lay face down, maybe in a child's pose. You could do like another little happy baby and then lay face down, forehead to the mat, and just let everything kind of come back down. I know it's a brief little pop-in. This is just to give you an idea of how I would be teaching that Bhakti Inspired class. So thank you for the movement you did with me today. Thank you for allowing your body to move, and thank you to the ground. Thank you to my yoga mat. Thank you to you for joining, and thanks for giving me feedback on this, and you are most loved. You are so loved. Well done. Well done. Good and faithful. You've been very good. You've been very faithful. Even in the least of these things, even in the small things, you've been very faithful. Really good. Good job.